Me man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. You know, I didn't get a chance to watch it last night because I was watching the Crawford and Horn fight, but I took in the Austin Trout and Jermell Charlo fight, and I gotta say, it was an interesting fight to say the least, man. First off, man, this is supposed to have been the performance of Austin Trout's career. This is him. This is his back to the wall right here, man. This was for all the marbles, if you will. You know, this is possibly what determine if Austin Trout will continue. Honestly, I mean, because there's nothing left for him to do at 154 other than fight contenders. He's fought all the big name fighters. So I thought Austin Trout would go in there and give a much valiant performance. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he tried to the best of his ability, but I wasn't happy from what I saw from Austin Trout. For one, I said before the fight, I thought the Hurd fight may have took a lot out of Austin Trout. And clearly, you see the way he fought Jermell Charlo was way different than he fought Jarrett Swift Hurd. When he fought Jarrett Swift Hurd, he was willing to stand there a little more toe-to-toe with him earlier on. As opposed to him fighting Jermell Charlo, he was retreating damn near from the opening bell. And it's like, though he was trying to outbox Jermell, don't get me wrong, I get what he was doing. He was trying to be a crafty veteran in there. His punch resistance, and on top of that, the power difference was just a little too much for Austin Trout, man. Now, Jermell Charlo, supposed to be the young, hungry lion, well, that's exactly what he came in there looking like, man. He came in that thing head hunting, throwing all a bunch of wild, crazy, aggressive shots, very aggressive throughout the fight, constantly cutting off the ring and hunting down Austin Trout, forcing confrontation. Wasn't nearly that accurate, smothered a lot of his shots, wasn't fundamentally sound in a lot of the fight, but yet and still, he went in there with this aggression and just trying to honestly headhunt, my guess, for the cameras, for the marketing, you know what I mean? Trying to raise his stock, trying to raise his profile, trying to set himself apart from his brother. All of those things were in play in that fight. And Jermell Charlo, who's looking to basically brand himself at this point, you know what I'm saying? He was playing to the cameras, I thought. I thought that he abandoned more so just trying to finesse the fundamentals of boxing just to try to, shining for the LA cameras, truth be told. And you heard boos coming from the crowd, unfortunately, which I didn't understand because it was such a good fight. I was intrigued by this fight. And you saw boos from the crowd, man, maybe because of the inaccuracies. I don't know. But there was points in time throughout the fight where it did get a little boring because both men just kept, doing. You had one guy constantly retreating, just working behind the jab. And then you had the other guy constantly coming forward, but being very inaccurate. So it didn't make for the best fight in the world, but yet and still, it still wasn't boo worthy. I don't know what people in there were booing about, man. Those two were fighting their hearts out, man. But Jermell Charlo pulls out the victory, man. One judge even called it a draw, 113 to 113. And then the other two judges, of course, gave it to Jermell Charlo. He wins it by the majority decision. Looking at the face of Jermell Charlo after the fight, it looked like he wasn't too happy with the call. He wished, I guess, the margins were a lot bigger. Like I said before, man, Jermell Charlo was playing a marketing campaign right now. And I ain't mad at that. I understand. I mean, fighters should do stuff like that. So it is what it is. So he beats Austin Trout. And, this is a fighter that everybody at 154 and already touched up. And it is what it is, man. So we were all expecting Jermell Charlo to get the victory. Some was expecting by stoppage. I called it for a UD, unanimous decision. So the fight pretty much went the way I thought it would go. Honestly, I thought Austin Trout, though, would stand in there and will be willing to clutch with Jermell Charlo, given that before the fight, he kept saying that Jermell Charlo was the smaller brother. He fought the bigger brother already. So if he felt as though he could take the bigger brother and give him a hell of a fight, he should have did it with the smaller. He looked worse in this fight. Austin Trout. I thought Austin Trout looked worse against Jermell than he did against Jamal. You know what I mean? Truth be told, I honestly thought he looked worse against Jermell than he did against Hurd. I know people are going to say, yo, Hurd stopped him, and yeah, this, that, and the third. And don't get me wrong, I'm Hurd's biggest fan. But yet, Austin Trout fought a very, very different fight in that fight. And in last night's fight, well, he was just fighting to survive, man. He was just retreating the whole fight. The two knockdowns, one of them was bogus. One of them looked like the first one looked like a slip. And it was hard to kind of tell because I don't know if he clipped up over his own feet or if he just got tangled up in the corner. But, it looked almost like a slip or a clip or something like that, man. I don't know if it was a sure shot that knocked down Austin Trout. But the second one was bullshit. You know what I mean? The second one was a shot behind Austin Trout's head. That clearly was an illegal punch. The ref should not have called that a knockdown at all. Don't know what the ref was looking at, man. But, it was what it was, man. And just the way the fight went. Unfortunately, like I said, Jermell, through all that head hunting and inaccurate power shots, throwing all that shooting from the hip, you know what I mean? He couldn't get the stoppage. So it just It looks bad when you're going for the knockout clearly, and you're headhunting majority of the fight, not even doing this nearly as much body work as he should have done. I thought if he'd have worked behind the jab a little earlier and maybe even start touching downstairs on Austin Trout, he could have got the stoppage. But headhunting, coming in there just trying to impress the cameras and look good and send fear to Jarrett Hurd or whatever you were trying to do, it didn't look right. It didn't sit well with a lot of fans, man. So a lot of people are walking away from last night's fight saying that, yo, man, Jermell, young hungry lion, you think that's going to be Hurd? I think not. You know what I mean? That's what some people are saying. Now, the way I feel about it is, yo, Jarrett Swift Hurd still the man at 154. No doubt about it. Unified champion. And he did get rid of Austin Trout worse than Jermell Charlo did. Well, actually, the first and only man to stop Austin Trout. So, like I said before, that should have been the performance that Jermell Charlo compared himself to, and not his brother. But I tell you one thing, you come into the ring being nearly as inaccurate like that against Jarrett Hurd, and that workload that Jermell Charlo puts out, mixed with the body attack and the constant pressure of Jarrett Hurd, it's going to be a problem. See, I can't wait for that fight if it go down, because it looks as if the way Charlo fought Trout, he ain't looking to take steps backwards, man. And we know that Jarrett Swift Hurd ain't looking to never take a step backwards. Man, this is going to be a major, major, major clash. I'm rocking with my man Jarrett Swift Hurd. I think Jarrett Swift Hurd is going to be able to weather Jermell Charlo's storm. The question is, can Jermell Charlo weather the storm of Jarrett Swift Hurd? The man is a matrix, you know what I'm saying? He smothers you constantly. He's always over top of you. He's always applying pressure. He's always got punches in your face. And yeah, Jermell Charlo looks strong. He's training with Derrick James. Derrick James definitely is training him for power. There was a point in time when Jermell Charlo was not always known for power shots. He was known to be a better boxer than Jermall, but Jermall was always known to be the stronger fighter. Well, Jermell is trying to change that narrative. But I tell you what, like I said, all those power shots, if you're not accurate, man, if you don't work on your accuracy and if you don't land those shots on Jarrett Swift Hurd, that workload that you putting out, Jarrett Swift Hurd is just going to eat that shit up like Scooby snacks, bro. So it's going to be interesting. Jermell Charlo looking like he can damn near go to 160 now, too, when it comes to size, man. Yo, Jermell is right. He is a big boy, Joe, and he looked pretty big against Austin Trout. So Jarrett Swift Hurd is going to have his hands full with Jermell Charlo, especially with this newfound aggression and this newfound motivation. Any fight at 154 is going to have a tough time with Jermell. But I think, honestly, right now, that workload, that inaccuracy, nah, bruh. Jarrett Swift Hurd left hooks to the body constantly, round in, round out, round out, working behind the big right hand, those big hooks he like to throw. And, I'm just sorry, man. I think the pressure of Hurd is going to get to Charlo. Charlo is mentally weak, in my opinion. He responds to everything. He responds to whispers. He responds to the crowd. He responds to how critics criticize his fighting abilities. And he adjusts according to critics. So when you are that kind of person mentally, man, yo, people are going to try to get in his head. I'm expecting Jarrett Swift Hurd to put a lot of stuff out in the public to get into the head of Jermell Charlo and, kind of beat him before he even gets to the ring. Because Jermell Charlo is very, very weak mentally. I see that, man. He's just overly responsive to everything. I didn't even see the post-fight press conference yet. But I'm pretty sure you're in that press conference going off and probably talking crap about the judges. I don't even know. Probably talking crap about the crowd. They were booing him. Who knows, But he is just very reactive to critics and very reactive to people. So, fighters are going to start using that as a tool against Jermell Charlo if he doesn't get his mentality under control. Real talk. That's just my opinion. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe to Twitter, Made Man 511, Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum, Google Plus Main Man Made Man. Yeah, man. I mean, the people had no reason to boo these two, man. I mean, though the inaccuracies were there, they still were busy throughout the fight. It wasn't nearly as busy as that Abner Martez, Leo Santa Cruz amateur-looking crap that they had later on in the night. I guess that's what the crowd wanted. But this fight right here, man, they were focused. They were busy. There was a lot riding on this fight. And both men fought their heart out. So good fight. So to the next video. Peace out.